Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chin and Just Sewing Space. Today's video is gonna be, let me start different. I was going through my meager number of videos I have here on YouTube, and I saw that my most watched video was sewing satin bonnet tutorial I did. So I thought, why not do another sewing tutorial, which is today's video. Now, I don't know why I don't feel the urge to sew anything out of my make 9. It was the same thing last year until like the middle of the year before I started sewing something. But instead, I remember a top I saw on Wendy. She has a YouTube channel here. It's called Wendy's Lookbook, and she had a top on. I liked the back. The back is the one with the details, and I've wanted to sew that for quite a while. I'll put a link to her blog post with the top on. It's called Casual Dots or something. So I decided to sew that instead of anything from my make 9 because that's what I feel like sewing, and I'm going to use this fabric. This fabric is very lovely. I've had it in my stash for a while. I got it in the local markets here. I don't know if you can see it properly, but it's like fluorescent orange with a dark blue background, and it's got like some green in the middle here. It's a very lovely fabric, and immediately I saw it, I was like, I had to have it. And the video is going to be in two parts. One part is going to there's going to be the drafting part, then the sewing, the cutting and the sewing part. The drafting part I found that was quite long, so it's like a 30-minute video, so I'm going to split that into two. So it's going to be two parts, then there's going to be the cutting part. So we're rambling on. Commence with the cutting of the drafting part of the video. Commence with the drafting part of the video, and I hope you guys like it. Bye. So to start off the tutorial today, we are just going to square a line down, and like I said before, I'm not going to use my actual measurements because I can't get it to fit in the shot I'm taking here. So I will mark, first of all, I would like to mark the full length of the top, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make that, let's see, 15 inches, right? Then I'm going to go this way and mark out my shoulder, which for the sake of this tutorial I'm going to you get your shoulder length and you divide that by 2. So whatever length you have, you divide it by 2 to get the amount you should draw here. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make it 7 inches on mine, and you square a line down. Now typically our shoulders are slanted, they're not bone straight, so I go down by 1 inch and draw another line. So this is your true shoulder line, right? True shoulder, right? So now I also decided I wanted my neckline to be a V, and for this tutorial I'm going to make that 4 inches down and 3 inches across, right? So then connect these two lines. And this is our neck line. Now, to get your bust bust measurement, which for the sake of this tutorial I am going to make, let's say 9. Square a line, of course. This is our bust. Then for getting your armhole, I typically, it depends on the kind of top I'm making. If it's a loose fitted top, I like to make it 9 inches. If it's going to be more fitted, 8.5. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make it, let's say 6.5 inches, and do this line across and call it our upper bust line. Right? Upper bust. Now to get your shoulder, take this line down and you take your bust measurement and divide it by 4. So you to know the measurement for your bust, you get your whatever measurement you got for your bust, take that out, divide it by 4, and that is what you would mark on this bust line here. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make it let's see, 9 inches. I don't know if you can see that. Right? So now you get then for your upper bust line, to know the curve of your armhole, you add 1 inch for ease. Right? So add 1 inch there, and we will just connect the lines. So I'm going to use a curved ruler because our bodies are not straight, like I said before, they're all curved. So I'm going to curve this line. Oh, that's too curvy. Now to get the curve of the armhole, you take the measurement from the shoulder to the upper bust line, and that is 5.5. But whatever measurement you have for yours, you just take it and divide that into 2. So for 5.5, half of this measurement for me will be 2.5. Right? Then you take in the line by 1.5 centimeters, and this line is true for everything. It's a standard measurement that I like to use. So there, right? Then take your trusty old curve ruler and join the lines to this point. So let's see. Hope you can see that. Right? So that is your armhole line. Then this bust line here represents the width of the garment. So I'm going to take that line down. And whatever measurement I get, I'll just move this down so you guys can see. I also want to add in my dart line, right? And for this kind of loose fitted top, I like my darts going in a slanting position. So I just come down a bit and mark the first line. I'm going to put a 1-inch dart. Mark the second line, mark the middle, and just draw towards, let's see, how many inches should I make this? Don't really want to make it that long, maybe, depending on, this is all styling by the way, so depending on your measurements, I'm going to make mine 5.5 inches. This is going to come from somewhere around your waistline. Alright, so do that. And do that as well. Alright, then that show the center of the dot. Right? Yeah. So back to the top, the top of the pattern, which we're now getting to the juicy parts. I decided that I want to have a neckband. And if you look at the design of the top, at the back, you could see the neckband there. So I decided that I wanted that neckband to come to the front as well, instead of having the I don't know what that collar is called anymore, bishop collar or Peter Pan collar. I didn't want that. I wanted this V-neck, and I wanted the band to go round. So I've decided I'm going to make my band 1/4 inch, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to draw a 1/2 inch here so you guys can see, and do another 1/2 inch on this side. On the shoulder line, and draw that in. Right? So to recap, we have our center front line, we have our neckline, and this is the band. This is our true shoulder line, this is our armhole curve, upper bust line, and this is our dart, right? So now we're going to cut the back, which has more fun details as well. So now, to make my life easier when cutting the back, I've just put the front pattern on another brown crafting paper, and I forgot to say we're cutting this front on the fold, so I just write fold on mine. This way I know to cut it on the fold. Now the neck line usually doesn't start from this high up either. You have to go down 1 inch for the back neckline. So for this tutorial I'm going to make it 1/2 inch, and it's going to be a slight curve, so I'm doing this, right? So I'm just going to get my paper scissors and okay, next thing as well, the back armhole curve is not as curvy as the front. Let's move this racing. So basically it's going to be like that, right? So take your curved ruler and do that. This is the back. I'll just put one line to indicate the front armhole and 2 lines to indicate the back armhole, but other than that, every other thing is basically the same. So I will now cut out the pattern because the back still needs some work. So I'll just cut out the pattern and I'll get back to you guys.